What's up, menopausers? It's Elizabeth here. Greetings and hello from my treatment room. So, I am a sports massage therapist in Glasgow, and that is not a slow cooker, it's a hot stones machine. And this is my treatment room. So, I thought I'd do a short video today from here. Lovely big high ceilings. This is where I work, this is where I'm based, and today's video is about HRT and how fantastic it is. And I wish I'd been offered it. And there we are. That's the video. I wish I'd been offered it. I'm 53 now, and I wish I'd been offered it when I was 42, when symptoms that were not common to me first started coming to the fore, coming up to the surface. So HRT is fantastic, but here's the thing to think about it if you're doing your research, which I hope you are, if you're thinking about going on to it. It is a piece in the puzzle, but it's not the only bit on the table. Remember that. It's not the only bit on the table, but it's an important bit. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you my 4 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, that you should do to support yourself, whether you do or you don't decide to go on HRT. But you cannot just go on HRT and expect it to be this magic pill that's going to absolutely and utterly fix everything if you don't put round a solid support frame, like a scaffolding almost around that. It is not a standalone treatment. It's impossible to just use one medication to just fix everything. If you're stressed out or you're not coping with life, and you've got brain fog and everything else that's going on, taking one pill is not going to all of a sudden turn you into Snow White, where you've got bluebirds helping you dress every day. It's just not going to happen. So, my 4 pillars. Ooh, that's a good way to call it, isn't it? Gosh, the way my brain works, things just come to me like that. My 4 pillars to go around HRT. The first one would be keep a health diary, either on your phone, if you've got an app that tracks your period. If you're in your early 40s and you're still getting your cycle and you are noticing symptoms that are uncommon to you, take note of them and always have your diary with you when you go and do a visit with your GP, and that way you can say, well, this has happened and this has happened, and this is what I've noticed about bloating, and this is what I've noticed about feeling uncomfortable, and I've been getting really over emotional in my cycle. My big heads up was recently getting reminded by my sister about how when I was about 42, 43, and I was experiencing the most horrific fluid retention and bloating and all these other really weird symptoms that just appeared out of nowhere, it felt like. I was like, oh, that's it. I must have a gluten intolerance. And I self-diagnosed a gluten intolerance, and that was it. I was on a mission. Everything had to be gluten-free. Did it make any difference? No. But I still tortured myself thinking, one day it'll work. One day this will make a difference. It didn't, because what I needed was hormone replacement therapy. There we are. So keep a health diary of symptoms that are not common to you. Okay, that's the really, really important bit. Number 2 would be reduce stress in your life and get out of your head. I don't mean get out of your head on drink. I don't mean get out of your head on anything else you can get your hands on. I mean literally get out of your head about menopause. Now that sounds a really odd thing to say, but here's an example of me taking a hot flush when I was too much up in my head when it all first started. Oh my God, I'm having a hot flush. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it was just this panic would come out. Whereas these days, if I do have a bit of a power surge, I'm like, right, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable here. Okay, let's just take some deep breaths. Let's try and breathe into it. Am I somewhere I can go and step outside? Yeah, let's go and do that. And that's what I would do. That's what I do now, rather. I just go and step outside, just remove myself from a situation and just be honest and say, hey folks, I'm kind of overheating here a bit. Excuse me for a moment till I just sort of regulate this and deep breathe and try and get control of it and be a bit more mindful about how you're feeling about the situation. So that's my really big recommendation with regards to coping with stress. That's one of them as well. But if nobody's the same. People don't have the same stressors. People don't have the same triggers that cause stress. So find out what yours are. I mean, for example, how do you feel the minute you open the door of your house? Are you happy to be there? Are you immediately going, oh God, look at that pile of trainers at the door? That really bugs me. And if it's something as simple as that, what can you do to sort that out? So there is external stress as well as internal stress. So have a good think about what both those things mean to you and make a plan. But reducing stress is no one's friend, and it just makes things a lot worse, especially if, like me, you had the most horrific hot flushes and sweats, and you would just get so stressed out about them, which would make everything worse at the time instead of just like deep breathing into it and being mindful. Number 3 would be to, how do I put this nicely? Examine how you fuel yourself. I don't want to use the word diet. I hate the word diet because diet to some people means restriction, and that's not what it's about. But I'll tell you what happened to me. I just got a little bit happy doing second portions. Menopause messes with your metabolism. It messes with the hormones that tell you stop eating your full. This horrible hormone called ghrelin, which is the one that makes you have a 3-course meal and then want you to go for cookies and popcorn afterwards, that one goes into overdrive, and it can just, oh, I just fancy this, I just fancy that. So I thought I was eating healthily. I still do eat healthily, but now I weigh everything out and I do track my calories. That's my choice. That's what I do, because I know that overeating in the evening is a thing for me, so I've really got to watch that. So now I try and overeat on strawberries and melon instead of Kit Kats or Milky Ways. I've got a really, I can't say yes to just more Milky Way. It has to be 2. So it's things like that. So since menopausal symptoms started when I was 42, I've naturally put on a half a stone every 5 years. So I'm 53 this year, so I put on just over a stone for what I think is no apparent reason, but really it's because I've been overeating. So be mindful of that. It is a really horrible thing to say to anybody that they have to watch their portion sizes, but I know for me that was bang on. And also, I used to be a manager for Pizza Hut before I was a massage therapist, and when you're working in catering, you hardly get a break. So what do? You wolf down your food really quickly and you don't chew it properly. And sometimes I've got to slow myself down and remind myself I'm not on shift, and take my time and don't get distracted when I'm eating and enjoy my food. So think about all what these things mean to you, if any of this is resonating. And if it is, drop me an email, info@elizabethbandine.co.uk. I'll put all my details below this video so you can get in touch. Where's my soapbox? I'm happy to speak about menopause with anybody that wants to, especially if it's going to help. I do consider myself to be a menopause educator because I've done a wellness coaching course, and that was one of my lockdown skills that I got. But also because I just want to save the next woman from going through what I've gone through. So if you're in your early 40s and you're thinking, I'm nowhere near menopause, I didn't know a thing about perimenopause. I wish I did, because I would have looked after myself so much differently. I'm not sure if that's very good grammar, but anyway, we'll carry on. So that is stress levels, diary, health diary, and how you feel yourself, how you use food in your life, and what food means to you. The 4th thing would be, I don't like the word exercise. I'm trying to think of another one. Movement. Move more. Just move more. Sometimes exercise can feel like an obligation, and it should feel like an option. So find something that you enjoy. Okay, so for me, I used to think that beating myself up at doing numerous HIIT classes a week and body pump was my way forward, and that was how to lose weight. But unfortunately, that was stressing my body out even more. And my body was absolutely hanging on to everything that I ate in the form of fat. Now, why does your body do that? Here's the really, damning thing about menopause, right? Your estrogen levels drop when you get to menopause. When you haven't had a period for a year, that's you in menopause. Okay, officially. It's the only thing that gets diagnosed a year after it's actually happened is menopause. So your estrogen levels drop. Guess where estrogen gets stored? In fat. in particular in adipose tissue. So your body starts to hang on to all the fat because it's got estrogen in it. Great. The only way that you can tackle that is by what I just previously mentioned, by watching your portion sizes, watching how many calories. Oh, here's another interesting thing. Not having a period uses up 300 less calories a day. You burn 300 calories less a day if you don't have a cycle. Having a period is exhausting. I can remember it. The stomach cramps, everything else that went with it, etc. It burns up a lot of energy. So, yes, going back to that. Anyway, exercise. Find something you enjoy. And that includes just sticking on your headphones and going out for big long walks with either friends or listening to podcasts. Marvellous. For me, I cycle to work every day now, and I also love doing Pilates and bar. Those are my go-tos. That's what I really enjoy. So those are my 4 pillars. Exercise should never feel like an obligation. It should never feel like something you have to do. But as women, and if possibly you've got a history of osteoporosis like I do in my family, then that's why I gie at Laldi doing exercise, because I want to keep that at bay, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. So find out what works for you and enjoy it. That's the main thing. But big long walks, doing walks for charity, getting friends involved, joining a walking group, whatever feels good for you, find what feels good. So those are my 4 pillars. Reducing your stress, keeping a health diary of symptoms that are not common to you, how you feel yourself and what your relationship with food is, and then also exercise, big long walks, whatever makes you feel good. So yes, all those things together and HRT could make up a marvellous bundle for you. HRT is fantastic for decreasing the chances of any heart or cardiac problems in women. It can also help with osteoporosis. I wish I was given that chance when I was 42, 43, when I didn't even know I was perimenopausal. That's when I needed it. That's when I really, really needed it. But what happened was I spoke to my GP, and what you've got to remember about your GP is GP stands for general practitioner. So it's general practice they're in. So if you don't have a GP that's specialised in menopause, then the chances are if you go to them, as I did, crying, upset, feeling unbalanced, then guess what? You're going to be offered antidepressants. And some antidepressants can actually help with the hot flushes. So again, ask your GP about those. But I wish I'd been offered HRT, because what happened to me was I got offered antidepressants because I'd been on them before for mental health issues. So it was like, well, let's just obviously go down that route, because that must be what the problem is. And it wasn't at all, because I had so many other issues going on with my bladder and my ureters, and I had an overactive bladder, and bladder training is something else that I'll cover in another video if you so desire. It's a thing. Women need to be taught this. So spread the word far and wide. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I just thought I'd make a quick one during my lunch break. And if you've got any comments or questions for me, please do leave them. Oh, and another tip for menopause as well. Find somebody that's really good at waxing and colouring in your eyebrows, because mine went all grey, which I love this, but the grey eyebrows not so much, because I just looked like a ghost. So thanks for watching. Bye.